We have now had officially 2 different reveals for Battlefield 6. One was the single player campaign and one was the multiplayer, both of which were absolutely pretty stunning if you ask me. But one thing was clear, you guys wanted to see more single player and specifically story content for Battlefield. But here's what I found interesting. The more that I went down this rabbit hole, the more that I went back and played the old games, it appears as though Battlefield 6 is almost likely and pretty much guaranteed to be tied into the story of older Battlefield games. And what I wanted to do is go through those older Battlefield games and kind of give you the story for them before we put it all together and I explain to you why I truly believe that. So the first game that I went back and played over on Ink TV was Battlefield 3. And I thought I would bring you guys a story video and explain the story to you over here. So without further ado, this is the Battlefield 3 story explained. Oh, also, if you want to see more videos like this one, be sure to hit the like button. So in Battlefield 3, the story surrounds itself around a character by the name of Henry Blackburn. Now, by the very end of Battlefield 3, you find yourself playing as Blackburn going up to a villa where you run into a Russian character by the name of Dima. Dima holds you at gunpoint but eventually surrenders and gives you one option. And that option is to turn on your squad. And for some reason, Blackburn obliges.
Get down on the ground! I said...
The question is, why?
That better? Yeah. Who are you? You CIA?
Good morning, Sergeant Blackburn.
Now, it is right after he pulled that trigger that the Marine of Henry Blackburn was brought in to custody, and no one really understood exactly what happened. So then he was interrogated and tells a story of exactly what happened 9 months earlier in a mission called Operation Swordbreaker. Now, this mission takes place in the Iraq-Iran region, and specifically what they are going in to do is stabilize the region against a new threat known as the PLR, which stands for the People's Liberation and Resistance. Now, Blackburn and his squad end up moving in with some casualties happening, but by the very end of this mission, an earthquake ends up hitting the region and pretty much a building ends up falling on Blackburn.
Oh, fuck!
Come on, let's fucking go!
So when Blackburn ends up waking up underneath the building, he ends up waking up to what appears to be the leader of the PLR, someone by the name of Solomon. And let's just say he's really freaking evil.
Choose what? Oh, come on. What is it? Live or die? Live or die, mister. Imshi!
So after Blackburn regains consciousness, he wakes up, gets all of the rubble off of him, and he starts to manage to escape and retrace his step towards the hotel and towards the school where he actually came from. And when he does, eventually he has to defend his location, waiting for an Osprey to land and extract him. Now, after that earthquake, we find out about a person by the name of Farouk Albashir. He essentially rises to power after that earthquake and the invasion of the PLR people into Iraq and into Iran. So it is about 6 months later that the American government makes the decision to invade Iran, specifically in this next mission, a place known as Tehran, Iran. And Blackburn is sent back in with the main idea of 2 things. 1, finding Albashir, Number 2, gaining intel on what the PLR are actually doing in this area and are trying to plan. And eventually what they do is end up making their way to the bank, breaking inside, and when they do, this is what they find.
It's radioactive. Is that a good idea? We don't got a choice. Holy shit. You know what that is?
Russian. Portable nukes.
There's only one there. Wait, there's room for 2 more. Where the hell are the other 2? Hey, you need to see this! There! Oh, shit! That's Albashir. Who's the other guy? I don't know. They're coming down. We need to secure the nuke and get the hell out of here.
What about the intel?
No, there's no time. Let's get the nuke and move. This whole building's gonna come down.
It is at this point that they realize that they are being surrounded. The entirety of the bank is getting surrounded, not to mention Farouk Albashir and Solomon are above them in the bank. So they need to escape, but they cannot because they are thoroughly outnumbered. So they radio in the WMDs and then they wait for help. And someone by the name of Miller and the tank company, who are just outside of Tehran, respond. They respond and are sent back in towards the bank. Now, eventually, after working their way through the desert and into the city, they end up making their way right towards the bank. And when they get there, essentially, Misfits, aka Blackburn's crew, are sitting there defending number 1, the bank, and number 2, the nuke. They are waiting for a helicopter to exfil them out of the area. And that is exactly what Miller helps out with. They drive the tank right up to the edge of the bank and they defend themselves all the way until the helicopter arrives. However, here's the problem. When it does, the helicopter is already full of number 1, a previous medevac, and number 2, the Misfits, Blackburn, as well as the portable nuke that they take out as evidence as well. They are told to wait 15 minutes and Miller defends himself sitting in the tank all that time, but eventually is completely and utterly overwhelmed. And then he is taken.
Hello, Mr. Miller, is it? Americans and their souvenirs. Is this your child? No, I can see the name. Johnny Miller. Hope he doesn't miss it too much. You know, children, they get attached to these little things. They can cry for days when they lose one. You know why? Because these small objects remind them they're loved. But loss is part of growing up, isn't it? Part of growing up is accepting the inevitability of death. The inevitability, Mr. Miller, of death. My father told me that. You would be a hero to your children too. I hope that gives you comfort. Brother.
Amadei, Bejam. Shame. You come to our country to murder us, yet we are the terrorists when we try to protect our nation and our people. This is the price you pay.
Now, this is a video that is sent to make a point to America that this is what happens when they invade Iran. Now, it is only a couple days after this that Blackburn and his crew then once again go after Albashir, hunting him down alongside the Marines at night. Eventually, they realize that they are close because the place and location from the video that was sent out the other day can be found. So they know that they're close to Albashir and eventually work in on him. And as he tries to escape, Blackburn stops the vehicle that he's in. However, Albashir is then injured.
We got Albashir. Securing him now, over.
So injured Albashir is picked up and carried to a nearby mall. Now, they have to wait here for extraction, but the problem is Albashir is bleeding out. So all the while they're defending themselves within the mall, they're interrogating and asking him questions.
I think he's delirious.
You cannot stop Suleiman any more than you can stop the sun from rising.
Here comes our ride. Blackburn, get ready to pull out.
So next we get to find out that Blackburn's pullout game is quite strong, but they end up making their way, once again, extracting on another helo. Now, when they do, this is when Albashir starts to bleed out, but before he does, they are able to extract just one final bit of intel.
Get your ass over here, come on! We need a hand. We're losing him. Hit him with this.
How did you find me? The execution video. Suleiman, it must have been him. He said, get the bombs. He used them for leverage. And he stole them. He used me, as he uses everyone. He dog betrayed me with his plans, trains. And for that, I will get him for this. Listen! The 14th of this month, when the sun is set, Suleiman will strike. Burn in hell, all
Hey,
of you.
come on! Hang in there! Come on! God damn it! We lost him.
So the secondary antagonist, Albashir, is now dead. So now it's just Solomon completely running the show by himself. And the only piece of evidence that we were able to get and take off of Albashir, other than the statement that he just gave saying that Solomon double-crossed him and used him for the nukes, is a cell phone. And on said cell phone, we have another person by the name of Kafarov. So we are then sent into another valley called the Araz Valley in Iran to go track him down. But when we do, things have changed a little bit because all of a sudden there are a ton of Russian soldiers there. But here is the weird part. The Russian soldiers essentially have a similar mission to you. They're trying to find the nukes. They're trying to stop Iran, or at least so we think. At the same time, we're not sure because we kind of heard rumors that the nukes that we found are actually Russian nukes. We don't actually know why the Russians are here. So we end up tracking down Kafarov to a small villa. But before we do, a small group of Russians, GRU agents, which is essentially the Russian CIA, are able to make it to Kafarov first.
Oh, sure. Must be. Listen, this key goes to a safe deposit box in Geneva. Take it. Take everything in it. I don't have them! Do you understand? It's not me you want. It's not... It's Solomon! Listen, I have information about Solomon. I know what he's planning. I know where the suitcases are going. Let's make a deal. My freedom for information. You let me go, I tell you everything. I tell you where Solomon is going. I know what he's doing and where...
Now, it is just minutes after this that Blackburn actually arrives at the exact same villa. And when he does, he ends up running into Dima, just like we talked about at the beginning of the video. But when he gets there, Dima fills him in on exactly what is going on.
Do not do anything stupid.
This piece of shit right there stole 3 nuclear devices from Russia and sold it to a man called Solomon.
Solomon's using the PLR. He has at least 2 targets, New York and Paris.
He's using public transit to move the weapons. He's going to detonate the New York device at Times Square very soon. This cannot happen. We can avert war between our nations. Just 2 of us. No politicians. No money changing hands. Just 2 soldiers speaking the truth. Help me. Help me to do this. That's it. I have to leave now. You don't shoot him. Millions will die.
So Dima explains the situation and says if the military and governments get involved, they'll just blame each other, and this will cause essentially World War III. So Dima says, shoot his superior, and we can go, just the 2 of them, and solve this issue. 1 in Paris and 1 in New York. And Blackburn listens. So Dima ends up escaping, and this took place on November 9th, but fast forward just 4 days to November the 13th. Remember how Albashir said that this was going to happen on the 14th? Well, in the 13th at Paris, That is where Dima and his fellow GRU agents, the Russians, try to stop this nuclear attack on Paris. So Dima and the fellow Russians end up tracking down the nuke once again to public transport, so everything is lining up. However, here's the problem. When they do, the nuke is no longer inside its container. And this is what happens.
Топор лишнему, где факел?
When was this?
10 hours ago, 80,000 dead. Ground zero was the Euronext exchange.
How's it feel? You think I wanted this?
So here's how this looks. There's Russian nukes. Blackburn just killed his superior officer in order to help the Russians. The Russians then go to Paris where the nuke is launched. It looks like the Russians caused this and Blackburn was aiding and abetting, but he said he's not, and he's trying to stop the exact same thing from happening in New York. So by the way, this is all taking place on the 14th, the day that they were told everything was gonna go down. But the further this interrogation goes, he starts to realize that Dima was more correct than he previously believed, and he didn't understand why that if the military or superiors were to get involved, why they wouldn't try to stop Solomon. But then everything shifts.
Solomon has the nuke.
Solomon is one of ours. He is an overseas asset, and he has been for years. We put him next to Albashir for information.
You are shitting me. He's a murderer. You saw the video.
Well, you get the good with the bad when it comes to assets, and sometimes sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
Isn't that your angle?
Jesus Christ, the nuke is still out there. Solomon's still out there.
So it's at this point that Blackburn realizes they are not going to listen to them. So he and his friend Montez, fully believing everything that Blackburn is saying, by the way, helps him escape. And when they do, luckily enough, the train containing Solomon is right outside the building. They jump onto the train and Blackburn works his way through, eventually working his way all the way up to Solomon.
You're good, soldier. You are good. What's next? I'm not afraid to die. How about you? Help!
So he stops the train, but he also knows Solomon is working his way all the way up to Times Square. So a chase scene commences. You're working not only against Solomon, but now against the police as well. And eventually you end up making your way to Times Square and finding Solomon.
You'll never win! The guy's winning!
So Blackburn, defying the police, not listening to superiors, eventually puts an end to Solomon, and fortunately he is just in time to stop him from launching the nuke within Times Square, saving hundreds of thousands if not millions if World War III were to occur. But we come to find out that it wasn't just Blackburn that made it out of the nukes alive. At the very end of the campaign, we end up seeing that Dima is once again still alive, seemingly in Russia, and also seemingly affected by the radiation of the blast that he was exposed to just a couple days earlier. Now here's where things get interesting, because Dima as a character is one who is continued on through Battlefield 4. Now on top of this, the most recent Battlefield game, Battlefield 2042, it doesn't actually have a campaign. However, there is lore behind this game featuring Blackburn, meaning almost all of Battlefield's games are all-encompassing and all in the same universe, lending to believe that when Battlefield 6 comes out, it is once again probably going to be featuring some of these same characters in the same universe, which means it's probably a pretty good idea to brush up on all of this old story. So if you enjoy what I do here, I've done this for years with Call of Duty and other games, and if you'd like to see me continue these type of videos with Battlefield, just show me by hitting that like button, maybe hitting the subscribe. I've said that I wanted to do story videos for other games for years, and well, here we are. So if you want to show your support, those are the ways to do so. That's been the full story of Battlefield 3. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.
But enough is enough. As Vladimir would say, you can only die once. Make sure it is worth it.